Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. I am Garima Arora, the head of marketing here at NuAIg. I'm excited to walk you through how AI and operational intelligence can truly transform senior care, both by improving the resident experience and by reducing the caregiver burnout. Across the industry, we are seeing increasing pressures, rising equity, staff shortages, and growing expectations from family. Today, we will explore how AI can act as a cognitive assistant to help providers do more with less while still delivering exceptional care. Next slide, please. So, before we dive into the use cases, excuse me, a quick introduction to who we are. NuAIg is a digital transformation and AI solution partner focused specifically on the healthcare and aging services. We work with senior living, post-acute, long-term care, and health systems to help them modernize operations, strengthen care delivery, and unlock the value of data that they already have. Our work spans across AI, automation, data strategy, digital maturity, assessments, analytics, and enterprise integrations. Next slide. So NuAIg is deeply involved in shaping the future of AI in senior care. We regularly speak at leading edge events across the country, sharing real world insights from AI and data transformation projects. We have partnered with leading communities across the country, and our case studies with leading age cast highlight the measurable impact AI can create, whether it is improving the census insights, forecasting revenue, or optimizing staffing. Our mission is simple: enable providers to do more of what matters while AI handles the rest. Next slide. So before we get started, a few housekeeping items. This session is being recorded and we'll share the recording afterwards. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We'll take them up during our Q&A session. And lastly, sit back, enjoy the session. We have lots of practical insights to share today. Next slide, Arushi. So I would like to introduce the speaker for today, Raj Vatnani. He's the Director Engineering at NuAIg. Hi, Raj. So Raj leads our AI and engineering practice and has deep expertise in enterprise AI, data strategy, and large-scale automation programs. He works closely with senior care communities across the country, helping them build practical AI solutions that improve operations and care delivery. With that, I hand over to Raj. Raj, on to you.
Okay. Thanks for the introduction, Garima. My role is mostly around leveraging technology to get real operational outcomes for senior living communities. As Garima said, today's session is focused on one simple idea: how AI and automation can improve the resident experience and reduce caregiver burnout, both at the same time. Now, this is not about replacing people. This is about removing friction from the system. So your teams can spend more time caring and less time chasing processes. Okay. I hope the context or the overview is clear. Now let's move on to the agenda. Now, I plan to go into senior living use cases. But before that, we can first talk about which special features make AI suitable, right? And then we'll talk about the resident experience, followed by caregiver burnout. And then if we get enough excited about AI, we will see the levels of adoption, the implementation journey, and lastly, we'll visualize what changes can we expect when everything comes together. Next slide, please. Okay, so first of all, we'll talk briefly about AI and then go deeper into the industry use cases. Now, why AI? The question comes. Now, The most communities today operate on multiple disconnected systems, manual handoffs, heavy documentation, constant phone calls, follow ups. So, AI can definitely work as your cognitive assistant. Why? Because it can understand natural language, easily work with data, analyze it, and even detect patterns. We already interact with ChatGPT, right? So you all have a basic idea of how AI works. So instead of reacting late to problems, working overtime, your teams get a proactive, calmer operating model with AI. Okay, so that's about AI. Now let's see what are the today's resident experience gaps. Today, we commonly see slow paper based admissions, reactive care instead of proactive wellness, delayed feedback with manual surveys, families depending heavily on the front desk, limited personalization despite we have rich data. So, what is the real impact of all of these problems? You have emotional uncertainty for families, they keep worrying, delayed comfort and care, and lower perceived quality of experience. They have good experience, but then there are some gaps and we need to overcome it. Next up, we will go deeper into a section around improving the resident journey. We'll look at some resident centric use cases where AI amplifies the care and experience. The first one in the list, and the pretty much maybe the most important one. A resident journey starts with admissions, but in the current state, we have manual form reading, delayed checks, system to system gaps. Now, with AI, there are two directions in which we can go. If we don't want to disrupt the current process, the admission paper forms, they can be auto read and classified using Vision AI. Or we can digitize the admission forms. That's the second direction. Both ways, there are numerous advantages. Insurance and eligibility are verified instantly. Background and financial checks auto trigger. HR profiles are auto created and apartments are auto assigned. Now, there is a complete slide around apartments, so don't worry. As a result, the data is available digitally and we can create digital personas of the resident. How we'll benefit from it, we'll see later in the coming slides. But the outcome of digitizing and automating admissions the result is a faster process, right? For tech stack, we use intelligent automation here, Vision AI, OCR, LLM, EHR integration, and for visualization, we use Power BI. Okay, so this was all about the admissions process. Now let's move on to the next slide, which is about personalized happiness index. Now, during admission, if we digitize it, if we read the manual forms, or if we digitize the whole process, we have seen how we can create basic digital personas of the resident. So we combine that basic digital persona, the first version, with lot of other data which gets generated. Lot of other parameters like food choices, daily routines, activity interests, social comfort, medical sensitivities, and that's not all. Another layer. We can combine that with activity participation, dining behavior, wellness check ins, survey feedback, care interactions. All of this become a single live happiness index for a resident, and that can be tracked. So, what's the advantage? If the score drops, then the care teams are alerted, routines are adjusted, engagement is improved. Wonderful, right? So this was all about the personalized happiness index about the resident. Move on, please. Okay. Now that we have started maintaining rich information about the residents, their preferences, their routines, mobility levels, social habits, dining patterns, and whatnot, we can convert, as I said, we can create all of this into a resident digital persona. It becomes a powerful asset, not even for care, not just for care, but also for sales and admissions. We'll see how. So, how does digital personas enhance the prospect engagement? So, when a new prospect visits or books a tour to your facility, the AI system can analyze the prospect's profile, compare it with existing resident personas that you have to find the closest matches. What's the advantage? So, when it identifies the best fit resident profiles, routines, apartment preferences, now your sales team suddenly has actionable intelligence before even the tour begins. You can introduce that prospect to residents with similar backgrounds, similar routines, show apartments based on their preferences, mobility levels, and all of that, right? Now, you can highlight community programs that they are likely to enjoy. Let's say somebody has put an interest in fitness or music. So you can, tell them about those community programs which are centered around that. Now, this shifts the entire experience from a generic facility tour to a highly personalized experience. Wonderful, isn't it? Okay, let's move on. I'll wait few seconds for you to absorb because I just don't want to rush through things. Let's take some time to absorb, make notes, whatever. Okay, the next slide is about the paper-based surveys, how we can convert that into digital intelligence. Surveys are really important to reflect on growth parameters. If we do paper surveys, it takes weeks to record the responses digitally, and then we try to analyze them. Of course, the process completes, but it creates delays, missed signals, manual entry errors, right? With AI, the handwritten notes and paper surveys are scanned through Vision AI, OCR. You extract structured output, trends are auto identified, negative feedback, if it is there, is auto escalated, right? So, suddenly, this converts a feedback from static reports into live experience intelligence, right? Did you ever think about this? Okay, nice one. Now let's move on. As I said, I was talking about the apartment availability and smart allocation in the admission slide. Wasn't clear at that time, but let's see what it entails. Uh, let's talk about apartment availability and allocation. Now, this is a silent revenue and experience killer in many communities. Today, the delay happens because the apartment availability data is scattered across spreadsheets, systems. There is no real time visibility for sales, operations, and admissions. Now, here is how you can change this, transform all of this. First of all, you implement AI enabled automation. So, first segment is intelligent automation to continuously pull unit status from property systems, then sync admissions, discharges, and maintenance updates in real time. Okay. Now there comes AI. It has two features here. AI would first match the right apartment to the right resident based on his requirements. Then the secondly, it can predict demand and waitlist. How? By analyzing historical move-ins, seasonal demand, and care type demand. Hence, you get smarter inventory planning and better revenue forecasting. Wonderful, isn't it? Okay, the next slide. Again, I'll pause for a few seconds. This use case is a pretty simple and a quick win. See, the current reality is there are prospects, residents, and families which repeatedly reach out to the for basic but essential information. They keep asking what are the visiting hours? What is the dining schedule today? How does billing work? What am I being charged for here? Right? Now, these questions often overload the front desk or community teams, especially during peak hours. That's tough, right? What is the solution? So, we can deploy an AI copilot for instant knowledge access. We design a copilot which is connected to your community's policy operating handbooks, planning calendars, activity schedules, billing FAQs, and of course, with due protection, we connect it with resident account data as well as it is permitted uh, according to the organization policies. Any other knowledge repositories can also be connected using RAG pipelines, RAG, uh, secure enterprise data access, and advanced LLM reasoning. The Copilot can provide natural language answers, and mind you, 24/7 across channels. What is the value delivered with such a solution? You get instant answers to very common resident and family questions. You suddenly reduce your front desk load, consistent and accurate information because there is no dependency on who picks up the phone, right? Improved resident and family experience because now we have transparency and timely communication. Cool. Okay, next slide. I'll take a pause again. It is very important. Let's understand how AI does fall risk prediction. Now, first of all, let's understand the resident data that we already have. Okay, communities collect a rich set of resident information every single day. Now, this data is lying here and there, but most of it is underutilized for proactive care. Now, the kind of data that we have is demographics, mobility indicators, medication profiles, clinical vitals, even previous fall history, behavioral pattern. Now, all of this data combined together becomes the foundation for predicting and preventing adverse events. With the right level of data, AI models can potentially detect subtle patterns that humans may overlook. AI moves us from reactive reporting, a fall occurred, that's reactive reporting, right, to proactive prevention, which is a fall is likely to occur. Now, with a little bit advanced tech stack, AI ML models, predictive analytics, and pattern detection, we can achieve that. Okay. Now, this is a last use case in the resident category, but I purposely kept the best for the last. We are talking about voice AI. Imagine there is so much need to engage with residents at so many points, but that's practically possible, right? No, 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 it's practically not possible. But if you want to check in on their health, you want to enable their families to check in on their well being with latest information. And moreover, we want to do time to time surveys as a reflection of care that they are receiving. So here we are introducing voice AI. It is the voice AI agent which is making calls to these residents in a human-like voice for different purposes, and a caregiver just assesses the insights that got generated out of these calls. So potentially, we can do automated wellness calls, voice-based surveys. AI can even handle the family updates. And moreover, if something is not right, the escalations to the right caregiver or a nurse is also possible. So let's say somebody during the conversation said that the pain is still there. You know, you want to escalate it to a caregiver that the person so and so is experiencing pain, and it is already also still prevalent after a week or so of his visit, right? So that calls for a escalation to a caregiver. So many meaningful insights, right? Okay, next one. Okay, so we saw in how many ways we can the resident experience get transformed when AI and automation work together. We started with digital admissions, which gave us clean, structured data. Then data helped us enable real-time visibility in early predictive health insights, always on voice in Gen AI that keeps residents and families continuously engaged. And all of this loops back into deeper data driven personalization for every individual resident. So, this was a section around the resident. Now, there were two parts to this webinar. The second one is about the caregiver experience challenges. I'll take a pause. It becomes too much to absorb. Let's wait for 30 seconds and then let's go in deep into caregiver experience challenges. Okay, let's go deep into caregiver experience challenges. Now, what do they face today? We talked about residents, but what our caregivers are also important, right? So, what do they face today? They face rising resident workload, the load, sorry, shrinking workforce, staff attrition, government care hour pressure. There was news around how many care hours must be given to a particular resident per day, right? Heavy documentation. So all of this naturally results into fatigue and less time for real care. So I've put together some use cases where we see how caregiver burnout can be reduced. Next slide, please. Yeah. So next few slides we'll talk about the use cases where we can see the burnouts can be reduced. First one, pretty interesting. AI driven smart hiring. Come on. So we have already discussed the shrinking workforce, high attrition rates in senior care. Now, this makes one thing very clear. We must hire smarter and not harder. As a first step, we analyze the historical staff data. AI would uncover patterns such as who stays longer. It has a retention indicator, right? Uh, who performs consistently well, uh, who tends to resign early, risk traits, environmental triggers. So, from all of these insights, the system builds a ideal caregiver profile for each type of job. Let's say CNA, medication aid, uh, nurse, caregiver, all of this. Now, once you have the ideal caregiver profile, when you go through the recruitment workflow, the AI first can screen and rank resumes based on alignment with your ideal profiles. They can tell you what are the strengths, gaps, and risk patterns. Now, this ensures that the communities hire candidates who are more likely to stay, who are more likely to perform well, right? And that's not all. We can also tailor training plans based on the digital personas of the staff. In short, the hiring and the training, they both become fully data driven and not just guesswork or intuition. Okay. Okay. Next one, please. Okay. This one is similar to fall prevention. Now, what we are trying to predict here is staff attrition. Now, let's look at one of the staff attrition is one of the most costliest problems in senior living, right? Now, when caregivers leave unexpectedly, it impacts resident care, increases agency costs, and put pressures on the remaining staff. Now, what AI can do? It can, if you have the basic workforce data in your systems, AI can analyze factors such as overtime load, shift patterns, frequency of absenteeism, exposure to difficult incidents. So sometimes there are end of life incidents. So who got an exposure to that? Manager changes, team instability. Now, all of these signals give early warning before somebody reaches that stage where he decides to leave. Now, AI can flag that high risk staff early. So, the system can provide a proactive risk score for each caregiver, indicating who is likely to leave soon, who needs workload balancing, who may require a check in conversation, right? So I'll quickly jump on to the next slide because it's related. I just said that it will indicate who needs workload balancing and who may require a check-in conversation. Just a casual check-in. How are you doing? You know, what are the problems you are facing? So in the last slide, we talked about those indicators. And then we can actually use voice AI to do a short, let's say, voice pulse surveys. This way, we can analyze the sentiment and escalate issues early. We could better interact with caregivers and hear them out. Okay, next one, please. Now we are talking about reduced paperwork for caregivers. Now, this is a general use case for intelligent automation. Imagine there are so many systems, and many a times information has to be fed into systems. So, AI can automatically capture several pieces of information. Like it can capture care notes, vitals at the point of care, read data from scanned forms, and push them directly into the systems without manual data entry. So I'm talking about a lot of intelligent automations here. We can go deeper as we discover the and study the processes. Now, outcome, what is the outcome for reducing the paperwork for caregivers? What are we trying to do? We are trying to achieve more care time and less keyboard time. Mhm. Right? Okay. Next one, please. Oh, very interesting. Ambient AI for clinical transcription. If I put very simply, caregivers speak and AI listens. So the AI not only listens, but it understands and it structures the notes automatically. It extracts the keywords, no end of shift typing. Your voice notes get converted into structured text. Key fields are extracted and fed into EHR directly. This is the concept of ambient AI, where AI is working quietly in the background and without disturbing the caregiver's normal work. Okay, next one, please. Again, last use case in this category, but again, very useful. So I'm talking about a root cause analysis agent. Now, you have several incidents that occur. When they occur, it is so important to do the root cause analysis. Otherwise, how do you prevent them from happening in the future, right? So we have to understand the incident better and take corrective actions. But a human being has limit. He cannot look through all the information across different systems, but AI can. Now, this AI can correlate information from staffing, meds, shifts, incident data to, to correlate everything and help to find the real cause. And when it does that, it even suggests a prevention. I don't need to tell you about the clear advantages we have, but it's faster investigations, fewer repeat incidents, and lower audit pressure. So all of these bunch of use cases are targeted towards reducing the caregiver burnout. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay. So what is the caregiver experience value summary that we saw in all these slides? When we reduce the documentation load, repetitive tasks are reduced, caregivers immediately feel the difference. Lower stress leads to reduced emotional fatigue, which means that they have more time in strategy, to more time and energy, sorry, for actual patient care. This improvement naturally reflects in better retention with far fewer exits. And when the turnover drops, the hiring becomes faster and more predictable. And it creates a continuous, uh, just one second, previous slide, please. And creates a continuous positive cycle that strengthens the entire care team. Now, as I said in the agenda slide, if we feel enough excited about AI, let's look at the levels of AI adoption. Yes, go on, please. Okay, now let's talk about the levels of AI adoption. Now, most people think that AI is just one time software purchase. It's not. In reality, AI adoption is a capability building journey. We typically see three clear levels. Down below, level one, copilots. Now, this is where the most organizations start as AI assisting humans. For example, let's say you have document automation, you have survey analysis, you have natural language queries, knowledge search. AI supports staff members with insights and speed. This is the lowest risk and fastest value stage. The second level is agents. Now, this is where the AI starts handling tasks independently. Let's say the admission workflow automation, background verification, survey escalation, fall risk flagging, staffing risk alerts. Now, this is where AI is detecting, deciding, and triggering actions, but of course, with human oversight. And the third level is the topmost level is about enterprise AI platform. This is the most mature stage where data is aggregated. I'm talking about those MS Fabric and MS Foundry kind of platforms for your data lakes and AI agent orchestration. In this, at this level, all the systems are connected, they talk to each other, multiple AI agents are deployed, they work together. You have dashboards, copilots, automations, they are all unified. Now, at this stage, AI becomes part of daily operations. It's no more a side tool. But typically, you don't jump to level three. You grow into it step by step. This keeps adoption safe, controlled, and sustainable. Okay, so these were the levels of AI adoption. Now, the question could be that Raj, I mean, if you have to adopt AI, then what is our implementation journey? Move on to the next slide, please. Okay, now let's talk about the AI implementation journey. Now, this journey typically happens in very clear phases. The first one is digital foundation. First of all, we make sure that your data is accessible, aggregated, your forms are digitized, your systems can talk to each other, right? So that is laying the foundation for AI, digital foundation. Then we move on to automation. We identify the manual effort, we identify processes that can be automated uh, using AI. These are the quick wins, quicker ROI kind of scenarios. Now, this is our first step. Sorry, I was talking about automation first. Yeah, so we automate all the processes which are simple in nature, right? And then we add an intelligent layer using AI. Quick wins, quicker ROI. That's our first step in automation. So first you set a digital foundation, then you do automations, and then you add an intelligent layer using AI. Then when you do that, obviously you are at a first level of AI adoption. So you can even not go live across all the communities right at the step one. You can run a pilot, make progress in your AI adoption through co-pilots, agents, and then AI enterprise platform. Now, the most important thing here is you don't have to do everything at once. You move step by step based on business priorities and readiness. Okay. So in the agenda slide, we decided that how it looks like when all of this comes together. Move on to the next slide, please. What do you have? You have happier stakeholders. Your residents feel safer and valued. Your caregivers feel supported. Your families are more informed and your leaders gain visibility and control into everything. Now, that's what I call connected care advantage. Okay, next one. So, let me close with this and just say that we have seen how AI comes together as a cognitive assistant and it works with less stress, more accuracy. So, you do of what matters more and let AI handle the rest. Hope this session was useful. Thank you so much for your time and over to you, Garima.
Thank you so much, Raj. We have a few questions that we would want to take up. So, first question is, how do communities typically get started with AI if they feel their data isn't clean or organized yet?
Okay. Okay. So that happens with most communities. They always feel that the data isn't ready. We are not ready yet. And that's completely normal, I would say. See, AI adoption doesn't begin with perfect data. It begins with digitization and simple automation. So as I said, the first step is create a digital foundation, digitize forms, make data accessible, enable your systems to talk to each other, and then you naturally start generating cleaner structured data, and that is the base for AI. So we don't need to fix everything before starting. We just need to start small and build step by step. I hope that answers. Any other
Mm.
questions?
Yeah, a couple more. How do caregivers usually respond to voice-based or ambient AI tools? Do they see it as helpful or invasive?
Okay, okay, okay. So we are talking about two things here, voice AI, and then the other one you said is ambient AI. Okay. So the most caregivers actually find these tools quite relieving because when voice AI handles wellness calls or short pulse surveys, it actually reduces the pressure on the caregivers to manually check in on everyone, right? So who wouldn't like that? And ambient AI again, the transcription is even more impactful. The caregivers just simply speak normally during their routine, and AI converts their notes automatically. So you are saved from end of shift typing and no more heavy documentation, right? So I would say the caregivers not only enjoy these tools, uh, but they found them very effective because nothing is about their workflow is not getting disrupted. AI works quietly in the background. That's what ambient AI is, and get you your benefits.
Okay, that sounds good, Raj. One more question that we have received. Which of the resident experience use cases tends to deliver the fastest ROI for senior living providers?
Now, as I said, we covered them at the first digital admissions because we have seen it with lot many clients. The moment you start automating the form reading, background checks, eligibility verification, apartment allocation, intelligent one, you remove the delays and the errors from the very first step of the resident journey. And yeah, the other one is very easy again, but it's very insightful. Survey to intelligence conversion. When you turn your paper-based surveys into digital intelligence, you get quick wins, faster insights, faster escalations, real-time feedback. So this closes the experience loop without waiting weeks. And both of these things, digital admissions and survey to intelligence conversion, they both require very minimal operational change, which is why your ROI is fast and it's visible.
Great. Thank you so much, Raj, for this insightful
Sure.
session. I hope the session was useful and relevant to our audience, and we will be sharing the recording of the session with all the participants really soon.
Yeah.
And if you are wanting to start your AI journey, and if you would want to get in touch with us, please do that. Our website and email ID is mentioned over here. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time today. Have a great day.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye bye.